Everyone, thank you for joining me here at Beginnings with Bee. This channel is going to be dedicated to showing you different ways that you can budget. I am starting this channel because when I was first trying to figure out how to make my own budget, I felt like there wasn't a solution out there that worked for me. So I have created this because it does work for me, and I do want to share it with all of you who may find yourself in a similar position. There are many different strategies when it comes to budgeting. Different strategies work for different people. This is just one more option for you to consider. I have this yearly budget sheet here for you guys. There will be a link in the description you can use if you would like to use this sheet as well. When you open up the sheet, you'll first find that there are some directions on how to actually use the sheet. There are many different tabs here. For those of you who are number oriented, this first yearly spread is for you. It will pull calculations from all of our monthly sheets, and it just makes it easier to compare numbers. For those of you who may be more visual, that same sheet that had the numbers will also create different charts that you can look at as well. Down at the bottom, we do have different tabs for each month. So we are currently in November. So we're going to go ahead and budget with me for the month of November. Here's my disclaimer. I use a strategy called budgeting 1 month ahead, meaning I use the prior month's income for the current month's spending. So I always have 1 month's surplus of income in my bank account that I use to pay the current month bills. This strategy just works better for me because I always start the month with a fixed amount of money that I can spend, and then I just subtract from there. I have never liked using the current month's income for the current month's bills. I find it's too hypothetical with income, especially where I do have varied income. This strategy just works better for me. Like I said, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. You can adjust as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and start filling out my November budget by entering my income from October. So I can just click here and I'm going to enter the date. I got paid on the 1st. It was part of my side hustle at a restaurant, and I made $392.55. I got paid again on the 2nd from my main salary. I made $1,867.19. I got paid again on the 8th as part of my side hustle. I made $248.36. I got paid again on the 15th, also part of my side hustle, where I made $238.11. Got paid again on the 16th, that would be my salary. I made $1,867.19. Got paid again on the 22nd as part of my side hustle. I made $390.80. I got paid one more time for my side hustle. I do get paid weekly for that. That was $232.67. And then this was actually a 3-month pay period for me. I get paid bi-weekly for my salary. And there was a holiday in there, so I did make a little extra $1,949.07. So my grand total of income for November was $7,185.94. So it totals that for me here, and it's going to correlate over here for my summary as well. I am going to map out what I know to be my fixed expenses for the month. I always pay my electricity bill. I have a water bill. I pay internet. And I always try and put money aside into savings. These I will fill out later as I wrap up the month, but I just like to plan out what I know I'm going to have. In terms of debt payments, my only debt payment currently is a mortgage. And then I utilize sinking funds heavily for expenses that always creep up on me. I have learned the hard way to always have a car maintenance sinking fund. I also put money aside each month for my car insurance. And I do a gift fund that is both like birthday and random gifts as well as Christmas time gifts. I will not track anything in my variable expenses yet. That will be at the end of the month once I fill it out. But you can see here, we are starting to take shape. Then I will scroll over, and this is where I'm gonna start looking currently. So I have this budget sheet here where I'm going to map out different categories that I anticipate spending money in, and we will go from there. All right, so I'm starting my budget here with $7,185.94. And yes, I do track every single penny. Every penny has worth, and if you're not tracking it, you don't know where your money is going. I am going to start with my fixed expenses. These I more or less know what they're going to be every month. I will budget on the higher end just as an in case. So I believe this month my electric bill is probably going to be around $75. My water bill tends to be much lower. It's usually around $15 or so. Internet is consistent every single month. When I pay it, it's $49.99. I'm going to round up to $50 for my budget. My mortgage, again, is always the same. Every single month, it's about $2,306 and some odd cents. I will budget $23.10 for that. Again, I like to round up for my budget. It helps me stay under later on. Gas, I typically spend upwards of $150 on gas a month, so I budget on the higher end, $200 for that. I will budget about $200 for groceries as well. I am a single family household. It's me and my little fur baby, so she's the only one I take care of. Subscriptions, these include TV subscriptions, gym subscriptions. I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription that I pay. All of those end up totaling around $60 a month. I do try and keep my subscriptions down to a minimum. Eating out is not something I do a ton this month because I do have a higher income budget. I can expend a little more on it, but I don't anticipate going anywhere near this amount, so I'll do $200 for that. I try and save a little money each month for either doing something fun or if I'm working towards vacation. I'll put $200 aside this month for that as well. I will do $200 for shopping. This could be anywhere from like clothes, beauty supplies, miscellaneous house goods, etc. I also have a miscellaneous and home improvement category. This is the first year I've been in my home, so there are just unexpected expenses that pop up. So I will budget $200 for that this month as well. I am budgeting $0 for oil this month because I just filled up last month. My sinking funds, we are going to come back to that in just a second. I do have quite a large income this month with that third salaried paycheck, so I am going to add quite a bit to my savings account this month just because I can. And I always initially start budgeting with $0 for an extra mortgage payment. And now I'm going to go back and looking at where I am currently at with the amount left over I have, then I will revisit where I'm at with sinking funds. I contribute to 3 sinking funds every single month, and as I make my budget is when I move the money for that. It is the first currently. My car insurance is usually the easiest one to budget for. I pay my car insurance every 6 months. So I take that amount, divide by 6, round up, and that's what I put aside. So for car insurance, I put aside $110 every single month. Gifts, because we are getting closer to Christmas, I'm going to put a little bit more aside for that. I'm going to do $100 for that. And my car maintenance sinking fund budget is currently at a really good point, so I am going to budget $100 for that. I do have a sinking fund tracker here. This one is just not up to date yet currently, but you can change these category names to match. So I would change this to actually car maintenance, car insurance, and gifts. You could change the names to match here as well. This spot here, you would enter however much interest you had made from the end of last year, because again, I like my totals to add up. And then as you start adding in items here, so we just said I was going to put aside $100 in insurance, so this is my November sinking fund. It's going to total here for me, and it's going to transfer up here and add into my overall total as well. Car insurance, we put 110 aside for that. And gifts, we put 100 aside for that as well. If you have to subtract anything from your sinking funds, because this money is meant to be used for those purposes, you would simply just add a negative in front of it, and your total will go down and it'll reflect up there as well. So now I'm going to go back to my budget for this. You can see as I've added in some expenses, this pie chart does start to update. So currently this is how much money I have left to spend. We've put $310 aside currently for some sinking funds, and I currently have $6,875.94 left to spend. But we know based on my budget here, the amount I anticipate having left over is about $2,400 or so. I am trying to be extra aggressive with my budget this month, just because I would like to make a large contribution towards an extra principal payment on my mortgage at the end of the month, just because every little bit extra always helps. That is where I'm at for setting up this month. I hope you'll come back at the end of the month when we fill this out. I'll add in my expenses and we'll see how I did together. If you're interested in checking out a tracker like this, please visit the link in my bio. It'll take you to my Etsy where you can purchase this budget. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. Thank you.